to the Morning Blend. In the animal kingdom, this time of year is prime time for newborns, from stray kittens to many wild species. And many don't necessarily need our intervention.
That's right. Andres Garcia is with Haws, and he has advice about when to stay away and when to help, and that is truly needed. Good morning to you, Andres.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. You know, I think as Molly mentioned, there's so many little animals that we can come across this time of year. And oftentimes we really don't know if they need our help or if we should just leave them alone. So let's kind of break down some of the animals that we might walk into or run into or find, starting with kittens.
Yeah, so kittens are a big one of like the semi-domestic animal that people can find like underneath their deck, even in like the rafters of their garage, or if a pregnant mom got in there for some reason, or bushes next to like a heat vent of where the drier air comes out, or just all over like weird places. I've even found them in like the crevices of decorative rock and in landscaping and things like that for people. So moms are an interesting animal, and they find interesting locations that usually complicate the like the rescue or like getting the kittens into safety. With young babies, a lot of times, as long as they're older than a few days, their probability of survival, if we take them in and place them into a foster home that then hand rears, meaning they hand feed, they potty, they do everything that the mom would do, their survival rate is really high. And then also they get rehomed and they get that cushy indoor house cat lifestyle instead of the outdoor cat lifestyle where in the winter they have, resources are scarce and things like that.
Tell us a little bit, if you would, then, if you come across kittens then, because I know sometimes they're just hours old and they need around the clock care, as you said, and then other times they're doing okay and maybe growing okay. How do you know if they're kittens you've never seen before? How do you know if you should help or make a phone call?
Most of the time, if you're finding kittens, a phone call is your best bet. Giving us a call right off the bat, and we can oftentimes ask you, are they the size of the palm of your hand? Are they smaller than that? Are their eyes open? What does their hair coat look like? And based off of those answers, we can kind of guesstimate how old they are. And initially, they're going to need around-the-clock care, bottle feeding about every 3 hours in those first early 2 weeks of life. And then towards 4 or 5 weeks, teeth start to poke out of their gums, and then you can trying to get them on like pate food mixed with some of that milk formula. The big thing is don't give them regular cow's milk or any other type of animal milk because it can actually cause diarrhea or constipation. And then you have other issues of like dehydration and whatnot. So there's a product out there called KMR, which we actually run a fundraiser for every year. And that's what we give all of our foster families. It's a powder you mix with warm water, and then you can bottle feed the babies. So giving us a call if you find a kitten is probably your best bet. And if there is one, there is probably more than one. Moms tend to have an average of like 3 to 5 kittens per litter. If you find a singleton, it's very possible that mom was moving them from their original location where she gave birth to a different location, which is also pretty normal. If something changes in the environment, like now they notice a dog or some other predator, they are very likely to move those babies. And that includes us, because if a cat has been outside long enough, they're more of a wild animal, which we call feral. And it just depends. They might bond to like one person and stick around if that one person that feeds them every day comes around. But let's say I then step on the property and they get wind that I'm there, they will just take off.
Absolutely. I know you guys have a foster program. You also, help over 1,000 kittens per season. We're almost out of time, but I want to make sure we address wildlife, because a lot of people come across baby birds and bunnies and raccoons and things like that.
So the biggest ones are baby wildlife or infant wildlife. If you find them, leave them alone, stand at a distance. If you're very close, parents are not going to come around because they see you as a threat. So stay at a distance and watch from a distance. If you don't see the parents come around in some time, like a couple of hours, then maybe there's something to be more concerned about. But if you don't see a visible injury, meaning blood or something, there's a lot of normal behavior, which to us seems counterintuitive, like deer, fawn. Mom will lay them down and she will leave them alone all day. And it can be somewhere that she thinks is a good spot. And if she's a first-time mom, that might be on top of your deck. Something as weird as that. And to us, we're like, that's not a safe spot. But for some reason, Mom thought it was. She will leave the fawn there all day. She will come back around sunset to feed the fawn and then most likely move it to another location. And then leave it, stay with them overnight a lot of times, and then leave them again during the daytime. And that's just to prevent predators from finding that fawn. The big thing is that fawns and a lot of wildlife don't have a scent. So predators can't actually smell them because they just smell like earth. And then if we touch them, if we put a blanket on them or anything like that, now they have a scent. So we actually make it a lot easier for that predator to find that baby animal.
We ran out of time, Andres, but I want to give all the information. Thank you so much for sharing all this information.
Of course.
Haws, you can visit the website at hawspets.org to figure out how to be a foster home or items that are needed for you to donate. You can call them at the number on your screen, 262-542-8851, if you've got questions about how to handle a situation with new baby kittens or any wildlife as well. They're located right in Waukesha.